morning. I'm Chris Jansing. Happy Friday. This is Jansing and Company. And with 2 weekends left before the midterm elections, new word this morning that Bill Clinton may be expanding his campaign schedule, worried that his party hasn't done enough to sell its candidates. The phrase human piñatas is something from this appearance, that appearance, and do you want to use? He was going soundbite to soundbite to soundbite. Let me play another little clip from what he had to say on the campaign trail. Do you think, Kelly, their relationship is maybe a little bit become this cheerleader in chief for all the Democrats?
Well, first of all, Bill Clinton has got to be loving this, right? I mean, because
are you kidding me? Yes.
Right? I mean, first of all, the only campaign where he was armchair
quarterback.
Is that what it's called? Okay, because
armchair quarterback.
I was about to start
I'm not helping you.
Yankees with basketball. I don't really know the metaphor. So I think it's a lot easier to say what they should be doing when he's not actually in a position to be elected right now. It's a lot easier. I can give lots of great advice,
he just said that.
I'm not running, you know?
Yeah, he just said that, John Harwood. He just said, all of a sudden, I don't have anything to run for, so everybody loves me once again. But how critical is Bill Clinton to the Democrats' strategy?
Well, he's very useful.
States, at least that everybody's been watching. That is, of course, Nevada with Harry Reid and Sharon Angle. She was on the attack last night. Let me play you some sound from both sides. I don't know, is it me, John, or has you talked to Harry Reid? Has he gotten feistier in recent days?
Well, I think Harry Reid.
Your head.
I'm saying that's the problem. People aren't looking at it, and it's up to Harry Reid.
Seems to be the catchphrase of this campaign.
Like the Christine O'D.
Well, I want to actually take a look at a poll, John, from the Pew Research Center, because since President Obama and the Democrats have been reaching out to their core constituencies, black voters, youth voters. We've seen them in all these college rallies. What are they doing to get back this advantage in the gender gap?
Democrats have
amid
done
all
in
that
Washington.
criticism.
Exactly. And she told everybody to get out to vote. So they're trying to prevent that from happening before Election Day.
Well, she's consistent.
Well, I think one thing we're forgetting.
Lady, but most people I know can empathize with having so many different, having a family and having a charity work and maybe the mother-in-law moving in, and I love my mother-in-law thing, but there is a connection there that maybe was missing on the
Easy Sharon Angle. There is something for everyone.
More about all these issues coming up, but I want to get some other news in right now. Steve Jobs didn't need an app for finding President Obama, apparently, because the commander-in-chief requested a sit-down with the Apple co-founder when he was in San Francisco. As bizarre as it may sound, celery has been linked to 4 deaths in Texas. Health inspectors found listeria in the celery, primarily chopped and sold in sealed packages to restaurants and institutional entities like hospitals and schools, not to grocery stores. We've talked about this so much, that violence that's really been raging along the southern border, and it's not only a threat to Mexico, it does have a direct impact here at home. Now the U.S. government is getting heavily involved, following this story for a very long time. Tell us, first of all, about this program. Potter, thanks so much for that update. Just this week, 2 teenagers killed themselves after being taunted and bullied for being homosexual. It's gotten so bad, President Obama is weighing in. 30 rock star Alec Baldwin is using humor in a new video to make a serious point in favor of gay marriage in New York. Now, this video comes after a rash of suicides resulting from gay bashing and bullying. We've just learned that a 17-year-old California student hanged himself after being attacked at school. The young man, Terrell Williams, left this note.
Helpful, however,
which is, who are these people who are doing the bullying, but that they felt they had nowhere to go. Right. To commit suicide. Right. And what needs to be out there? The incumbent, especially when we're talking about teenagers, for adults to be really conscious and really aware and be able to steer them in the right direction for help. Analysts have an impact on National Public Radio's government financing. First, Americans weren't sure they wanted it. Now they're not sure whether to keep it. A new poll finds a 4th grader is now safely away from any cars in juvenile detention, waiting to hear his punishment. National Public Radio is catching heat and hearing calls to cut its federal funding over the firing of longtime analyst Juan Williams. These are the comments that led to NPR's decision to fire Williams. Well, it's been created a huge... Thanks so much, Nora. A bold and brassy NASA experiment has paid off. Today, NASA will officially announce a groundbreaking discovery. Not only is there water on the moon, which we learned last November, but there is a lot of it. I want to ask you a very non-technical question. How cool is this?
Well, it's really incredibly.
I'm with you. This is incredibly cool stuff. Thanks so much for talking to us.
You just want the jewelry, but thanks anyway.
No, I want to go there. That's what I really want. I want to be the first journalist on the moon. See what you can do for me, would you?
We'll put your name on the list.
Thank you. Taylor Swift. And don't mess with these jewelry store employees. A group of robbers stormed into the Fullerton, California. That, of course, is House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on the enormous amount of campaign cash that's poured into these midterm elections. By some estimates, more than $3 billion. And in many cases, the money is coming from secret donors. Michael, is really are we talking about, and how much of that is from unknown donors?
Well, we
$1 million or more?
Exactly. And that's not something we've seen in quite some time.
Just so people understand, the ads that are being made with this money, in theory, are there supposed to be guidelines about what they can and cannot say and do?
Basically, because of that Supreme Court.
Michael, really appreciate it. Michael Isikoff.
Thank you.
We're going to be of the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee coming up in just a bit. Now roll the videotape. Hear that music? I want to stay. Number again, $3 billion in campaign spending this season. There's never been anything like it. And there's a lot of criticism from the Democratic side because the Republicans are raising money through these independent groups that, frankly, aren't reporting where the money is coming from. Let's talk about it with Representative Congressman. And look, you know what the Republicans say. They say you're whining about this because they're getting money and you're not, and they're not doing anything illegal. What do you say to that?
Ads on TV, but tell people who's paying for them.
Our Democrats, Congressman, because of the criticism that's being leveled, not coming forward, who might not want to disclose who they are. When we just heard Michael Isikoff reporting there are at least 20 donors who have given $1 million or more. Harold Ickes, the longtime Clinton fundraiser, said, I'm quoting him here, Obama has not been encouraging about.
Well, whether it's money on the right or money on...
Can't imagine that the numbers are going to keep going up, and you wonder if there is a point sort of diminishing returns. Chris Van Hollen, Democrat from Maryland. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.
Taylor Swift is not afraid to kiss and tell, especially apparently about a soured romance. The girls had in the newsroom today.
Musician to irritate your father. That's just me.
Do you have a guitar?
He's a good songwriter.
And says your body is a wonderland. I mean, that's how I'm just saying.
Louis, your excuse. Thanks. Aguilera and her breakup. So Bonnie, Kelly, Richard, thanks to all of you.
Thanks.
Survivor story. Former NASA Administrator Sean O'Keefe will join me here. Chris Jansing, this is Jansing and Company. Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid is in a dead heat and fighting for his political career. Now, his Republican opponent is telling him to man up. How did Reid's manhood become part of the political discussion? Well, we're also awaiting the arrival of Lindsay Lohan to a Beverly Hills courtroom. Lilo is due in court 30 minutes. Police took on protesters yesterday in an effort to open a strategic fuel refinery. This comes as the French Senate prepares to vote on President Nicolas Sarkozy's bid. Man, oh man, what a Senate race it's been in Nevada. Tea Party Republican Sharon Angle, Democrat Harry Reid trading new jabs with statistical dead heat. So what's all this man up stuff about? Well, it only, I guess, doesn't make sense if it doesn't rally the base. J.D., will it?
Well, the fact is that
I think it probably. Speaker Newt Gingrich stumped for Sharon Angle yesterday in Las Vegas. He took square aim at both Harry Reid and Nancy Pelosi. Let me play that for you. Well, you know, yesterday, or I guess it was in the last couple of days, Bill Clinton has been saying, look, the Democrats need to get tougher on this. They need to say you can't stop, I think there's a train going down the track 100 miles an hour, you know, in the amount of time that the Democrats, that Barack Obama has had. John Ralston, is this debate that everybody's watching in Nevada, and everyone is looking at this so closely, obviously, because it is the majority leader and because Sharon Angle has sort of become this
devastating for Harry Reid. And so as
great perspective on what's going on in Nevada. I want to ask you other guys about Bill Clinton. You know, he's been on the stump so much. They're saying he's going to expand his schedule. He's going to go into some key states. He'll eventually, I think, have made 100 campaign appearances come Election Day. But in the Washington Post this morning, there's a report that the former president is baffled by the Democrat strategy for a Republican wave into power. And you may obviously buy the argument and have articulated that that you don't think the Democrats have a coherent economic message. Do the Republicans? Obviously, the plan that was put forward by John Boehner was rejected. We don't hear much about it anymore. What is it that is going to resonate? Are you making the argument that it's the Republicans who are winning these races, or just a general disaffection with what's going on in Washington?
Understand there is broad-based.
How Bill Clinton, I think, is answering your argument, J.D. This is from the campaign trail in Maryland yesterday, trying to counter the Republican campaign message that it is the Democrats who have made the economy worse. Take a listen. Michael, is that the message that Democrats should have, what we just heard from Bill Clinton?
Well, I think it's probably a better idea than what
we shall see. A lot of interesting races are tightening. J.D. Hayworth, Michael Smerconish, thanks to both of you. Alaska Senator Ted Stevens and 4 others died in a plane crash this August. 4 survived. He is watching where the political power broke. Who could forget in Alaska last August, 9 people took off for a routine fishing trip. In one violent instant, their lives were changed forever. But emotionally,
to realize that was something very important to us.
Well, we are so happy to see you here. Thank you so much for coming in, and our best to your son as well. And President Obama is on a multi-state campaign swing through the West. Here's one big reason why it's flipped around.
Well,
at that nationally, does it give you the message that somehow the Democrats' message on the economy is not getting through?
Well, I mean, I think
those are the key talking points, and we've been hearing them now out on the campaign trail from Michelle Obama, who you just have to look at the polls. She's the most popular person inside the White House, most popular person in this. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thank you.
Lindsay Lohan is face-to-face. Welcome back. I'm Chris Jansing, and here's what we're watching right now on MSNBC. 10 months after Haiti's, Lindsay Lohan is expected to find out today if her next outfit will be an orange jumpsuit. Start with you. What are the things that the judge is going to have to consider here? Yeah, especially for someone who just said, I'm not going to talk about this anymore. Don't talk to me about my daughter. I'm going to be low-key. Yeah. Tony, thank you as always for your reporting. And speaking of exclusive, Bonnie is here, another famous
for such behavior. She'd never stay with anybody like that, and if it happened, she'd speak out against it. So very relieved to report that.
Yeah, and it's always a sad story. Look, no, you don't want to see anybody break up. There's all these pressures, especially on these young stars in Hollywood. But she's actually been talking about the fact she's finding it hard some days to get out of bed.
And that everything is focused on her 3-year-old son, Max.
Yeah, what do you think is going to happen with Lindsay?
Well, Judge Eldon is sympathetic to the fact that she's gone to rehab for the 5th time. He may feel that she needs punishment before rehab.
All right, well, we will see. We shouldn't be long till we find out what exactly happened in that. It's a race against time for the political power players all across the country. The biggest names in both parties have just 11 days more to get undecided Americans excited enough to vote on Election Day. And Senator Lisa Murkowski says that while Republican money is flowing to Joe Miller in Alaska with her race, she knows where her colleagues' loyalty really lies. If I may, just to put him in perspective from Senator Murkowski, right now, that they're not doing it gladly.
Well, the comments that she made were to the Anchorage Press up in Alaska.
Almost out of time here, but Murkowski has been hitting back about this whole bodyguard thing that Joe Miller's bodyguard handcuffed an editor during an event last Sunday. Is that still resonating with voters there? Is that getting a lot of play?
It is, and it's certainly taking away from the debate about.
This is not dull. Libby Casey, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. New rules on this Sunday. NFL players may think twice before delivering headshots because the hit could cost them game time, not just fines. Help. Will they think twice about these hard hits if they think they're going to lose game time? It is a little different than what I've heard before. He says, let's get rid of face masks, because if you do that, they're less likely to go in with their heads. Do you buy that?
He's absolutely right. If you go back and
because we've seen it time and time again with retired players. We've certainly seen it as recently as last Sunday. We saw a whole slew of fines, saw tough hits. And on the other hand, you have a pushback from somebody like Jerome Harrison who says, look, I might not want to play anymore because they're asking me to play a different game than I've played my whole life.
Well, I understand.
Well, Chris Nowinski, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Paranormal Activity 2 is set to make a killing at the box office this week. Let's start with you, Julia. Big expectations for this movie. Huge expectations. I mean, thank you so much for the money. Let's go now to the sort of facts of the movie. You think they love, and your 13-year-old daughter's getting ready to go.
Oh, she is. She has to see every scary movie. I try.
So scary is nothing new to you, but are you a scary movie? Are you a scary movie
Well, my
guy?
kids are going to be there. Believe me, the kids are lining up to see this, and I dare not use the word $100 million. That's just huge. I expect a big weekend, and I expect.
Will you go with them, or you just let them go by themselves?
Look, the real world
Bonnie's
is
not
scary
going near
enough.
this movie.
No way.
Yeah.
Look, I got to have escapism, Chris. The real world's tough enough.
Thank you, Bonnie, and of course, thanks to Julia at CNBC. That wraps up another week of Jansing and Company. I'm Chris Jansing. See you back here on Monday, and